Hi everybody, it's Claudia from Create with Claudia. Thanks so much for stopping by. Stick around because we're doing clue number 1 of the Cotton Cuts Piazza Puzzle Mystery Quilt. About 8 months ago, Cotton Cuts approached me and asked me if I would be interested in being one of the bloggers for their puzzle mystery quilts, and it's called So Sweet. And this started about, I think it's like 7 months ago now. And I jumped at the chance. I love a good mystery quilt. And this looked like a really nice program, and I was happy to do it. And so if you've been watching those videos, I think we're on clue number 7. That mystery quilt was called So Sweet. So we have a few more months in that one. But they asked me again if I would do it again, and I jumped at the chance. This is such a great program. This time it's called Piazza. That's the name of the puzzle mystery quilt. And we all get to choose what color we want. They have a lot of different colorways. I chose Maggiore. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I went with red, white, and blue this time. I thought that would be kind of fun. Bright and bold. I love colors like that. But I wanted to tell you just a little bit about this mystery quilt before we get started. They send you a clue every month, and that's what we're doing today is clue number 1 of the Piazza puzzle mystery quilt. You can choose a large or a small. I'm working with the small quilt. I like wall quilts, and it's a little bit smaller, so that's kind of nice. Again, they send you 1 clue each month, and they send it to you. They send you the fabric. Everything you get is so nicely cut. It's pressed perfectly. You don't really have to do anything except sew. The pattern you get is so well written. It's so easy to follow. I'm going to say sew a lot in this video, but it's really, I can't say enough about this program. It's great for beginners. It's great for experienced quilters and anybody in between. If you want something that is going to help you step by step along the way, this is the program, mystery quilt for you, especially if you're new to mystery quilts and you maybe aren't quite sure what you're going to do. So when I open up this bag, and I'll show you later, we'll zoom in on that. This is clue number 1. When I open this up in a minute, I will be opening it up the same time you do. One suggestion: keep this somewhere safe and don't lose it. You will get this if you've signed up for this, you've already gotten this packet. Especially this, you definitely want to keep this page. This tells you the fabric letters. This is like fabric A, B, C, D, etc. You want to keep this color chart. In fact, I recommend taking a picture of this. I do always share my video over on Facebook. They have a couple of, Cotton Cuts has a couple of groups, and I like sharing them over there. So it gives people an idea of what I'm doing. If you are quilting along with me again, welcome back. I'm glad to see you. I hope drop me a line in the comments and let me know if you're new to this mystery quilt, the puzzle mystery quilt, or you're doing this a second time. I know a couple people have mentioned in my last video of the other mystery quilt that they had planned on doing it again. So that's really exciting that I can quilt along with you again. I'm going to adjust the camera really quickly so you can see me assemble clue number 1 of the Piazza puzzle mystery quilt. I keep saying mystery quilt. It's the puzzle mystery quilt, and it's by Cotton Cuts. Alrighty, so here we go. Here again is that pamphlet with all of the information on it. Has all kinds of tips and tricks which are really helpful. Tells you when the shipment date is for all of your clues for Piazza. Also has a contact information. There's the information about the Facebook groups I was talking about. And then the big thing is your color card, which tells you the different fabrics and what they're labeled, which is really important. And then here's my clue number 1. Again, we're opening this all at the same time. It looks like I have some other goodies in here. So I'm just going to open it. Like I said before, everything comes so nicely. Look, 2 pens. I love pens. Awesome. Thank you so much to Cotton Cuts for those. I'm going to put those aside. So this is my first look at the fabric along with yours. I don't know what colorway you're doing. Also, drop me a line. Let me know what colorway you're doing. There were so many. It was really hard for me to pick from one. This is Spangled by Wishwell for Robert Kaufman Fabrics. gorgeous. And you know what? I hope you can see it. I'm going to try and take a picture of it. It actually has glitter, some shine in there, some glitz. Hopefully I'm going to move around so maybe the light will catch it. How pretty is that? Looks like fireworks. Oh, there's a better look. Maybe the star. There you can see it a little bit better. Ooh, this is going to be fun and very festive. So, it looks like they send us the triangles, and then, of course, it would be important to also get the clue. That's very helpful. I just printed that out on my computer. Looks like I have all the pieces we need. Looks like a lot of triangles in different fabrics. Yep, it looks like a lot of them. There we go. Very pretty. Oh, this is so pretty. I'm loving this fabric. How fun and festive. There we go. Looks like that's the 1, 2, 3. And then some squares. And let's see, I'll put those up there. Let's see, maybe you can see it better this way. There you go. There's all the pieces for this month. Looks like I have everything. I have noticed that when I did the other one as well. I've never had a problem missing a fabric. Everything has been cut perfectly to size. It's just like a no-brainer sewing. I love it. And sometimes it's so nice to have something like this. So I'm going to turn it over, and here actually are the directions. It looks like we have 2 sections to do. We have a section 1A and a section 1B. If you're new to the Puzzle Mystery Quilt, I would do one section at a time, and I highly, highly, highly recommend labeling those sections, because 10 months from now when we get that last clue and you haven't labeled your sections, I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you're going to be in a little bit of trouble because you won't know which sections go where. So we're going to start with section 1A, and it says to sew a small triangle E to a small triangle D. So I come over here to my color chart. I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit, and I'm going to move actually all of the fabrics out of the way. All right, so I need triangles from fabric E and triangles from fabric D. So fabric E, I go over to my color chart. It is this pinwheels, like a royal blue with pinwheels. And then fabric D is the red with the fireworks. So these are the 2 that I'm going to put together, and it says to make 2 of these. So I'm just going to grab 2 of these triangles and 2 of these, and set the rest aside. And you're going to sew those together like you're making a half square triangle. And when they're done, you're going to press to D. And D again is that red fabric. You're going to press towards D. That's the other thing. These patterns have the best pressing directions. I write patterns, and this has taught me a lot about pressing arrows. It's something I kind of forget when I'm writing my patterns, but this has helped me a lot. So anyway, you're going to put these right sides together, like so, and you're going to press towards the red fabric, and you're going to make 2 of these units. So here are my first 2 squares. I'm going to set those aside. One thing I forgot to mention, very important, always use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Just read those instructions on the clue, and that'll tell you that. But here are my first 2. I'm going to make 2 more, and these are going to be in a different color. These will be, let's see, A to E. So we're going to need more of that blue. Let's see, let me pull out my color chart. A is the dark blue, and E is that sort of royal blue with the pinwheels. So I'm going to get 2 of those triangles and 2 more of the blue ones. And we're going to do the same thing, and this time we're going to be pressing towards fabric E, which is the lighter of the 2 blues in my case. Now in your case it'll be different colors, don't forget, but what we're sewing is triangle A to triangle E. Alrighty, here are these 2. This is the fabric A to fabric E. Ooh, I'm loving the bling in this fabric. This is so much fun. So the next step is to pull back those half square triangles you did earlier. And it says to sew step 2, this was step 2, to the right of step 1. So let's see what we're going to do here, making sure it looks right. I'm going to pull this over. It's really helpful with these directions. It tells you, it has nice diagrams on there as well. So this was, let's see, fabric D. See, I'm not used to these fabrics yet. By the end of it, you'll have these all memorized. You'll know fabric E is a certain color, fabric A is a different color. But this is how you want to sew it together. And you're going to make, whoops, 2 of these units that look like this. So you're going to sew, put them right sides together, and just sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance down there. And you're going to repeat that with the other 2 half square triangles. Okay, so here we go, rolling right along. These are pretty. Look how bright and festive these are. So the next thing we want to do is, we're making some more half square triangles. So I'm going to set these aside. And the next fabrics we need are 2 triangles of fabric F and 2 triangles of fabric E. And again, here's that fabric E with the pinwheels, 2 of those. And then the other fabric is F. And let's see what F is. F is the light blue. Ooh, pretty. That's, oh, right here. Here we go. We need 2 of these. And we're going to do the same thing, make some more half square triangles. Alrighty, so here are these 2. And this one you were pressing to fabric F. So in my case, I pressed towards the light blue, and that's fabric F. So the next thing we're going to do is take that square of fabric A, which in my case is this fireworks fabric. And we are going to sew, let's see, this was, so 1 square of fabric A to the right side of step 4. So I'm going to do that 2 times. All right, so here's how these turned out. Put them so you can see them. Ooh, so pretty. And we're going to set those aside for right now. And then we're going to need a square of fabric A and a square of fabric C. And we're going to do this 2 times. So you need the 2 remaining squares of your fabric A, and then the 2 squares of fabric C, which in my case are just solid white. And you are going to sew a fabric C to a fabric A, and wrong way. And then you're going to press towards fabric A, in my case the dark blue. Alright, so here they are. I pressed them towards A. And now we're going to pull back those other units we made earlier, because we're going to finish up section number 1A of this month's clue. And let's see what the diagram, this is what's so nice about the diagrams. You're going to lay them out. Let me move this around a little bit. Put away. We're going to make 2 sections that look like this. We're going to put this on top. This is A, C, and then here we go. Okay. Here's the next unit we made. Let me pull this down a little bit. I have a monitor, so it kind of helps me when I can see what you can see. And then there we go. Okay. So this is how you're going to lay it out. This is, in my case, fabric C and A. There's another A. And this mimics the pattern. You just want to make sure you laid out everything right. There's that fabric E, so you're getting, I can already see a little bit of a line going in there. And this is, I'm going to show you now where it's so important to follow those pressing directions. Once these 3 rows are sewn together, you're going to press this row to this side, this row this way. So you're going to sort of pressing towards the outside of this center row. And if you look on your clue, what I mean by the arrows, there are all these little arrows in the pattern. Hopefully you can see that okay. And that's what indicates the pressing. So if you have any questions or aren't quite sure about that, that's what that means. So I'm going to go ahead and sew these, but let me tell you why that's important to follow those pressing directions. Place them right sides together. This way, because you've pressed the way the pattern tells you to, these nest really nicely together. And by nesting, they sort of fit in place. They sort of, like a jigsaw puzzle, they fit right in there. And you should get a nice crisp seam along there. It's kind of hard with that dark fabric to see, but that's what you're going to do. And you you want to pin there just so that seam doesn't slip. If you watch my videos, I'm kind of notorious for not pinning, but in this case, whenever I have a seam like that, I definitely will pin. And you're just going to sew along here, always maintaining that 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then we'll add this next row to the bottom. And then I'm going to repeat it all with the other one, so you'll have 2 sections that are going to look the same. Okay, so I sewed those together, but before I go press them, I want to show you one thing, and hopefully you can see this. I'm going to move the camera around a little bit. It's a little fuzzy. Sorry about that. Use one tip to help you get a nice sharp point when you want to do a nice, see how you have a nice sharp point there? Maybe I'd move it a little bit. There you go. To get that, with these, when you have these half square triangles like this, when you're sewing this seam across the top, use that point right here where this seam and this seam join. That'll be your marker, and you want to stitch your stitch line right on top of it, or even just a hair towards the outside, towards that way, so you get that nice sharp point. That's just my little tip for you. So whenever you're doing something like that, that's what you want to do. Alrighty, so here we go. This is clue 1A, section 1A of clue number 1. You can see I got nice sharp points there, so you have a nice line. You can see where that's starting to form a little bit of a line, so I can't wait to see this. Very fun fabric. Now we're going to start with section 1B of clue number 1. So for section 1B, you're going to be making 2 of them. And it looks like we're making lots of half square triangles. I love half square triangles, so that's fun for me. The first pairing you're going to do is your fabric E, which is more of those pinwheels. Obviously using a lot of those this month. And then to fabric D, which is the red. And I'm going to pair those up. And then you do two pairs like that. Then you're going to do 2 pairs, and I'm going to lay these out maybe so that we can see them, of fabric D and fabric F, which is the light blue. So I'm going to pair those up to half square triangles. Next up is fabric E, more of these. Let's see. With fabric C, which is, I believe, the white. See, I'm already starting to memorize them. And you get 2 of those. There we go. I'm going to pair those up. 2 more fabric C's with fabric D, more of the red. Oh, here we go. So these are all pairs that you're going to make. And I made a mistake here. Actually, 2 of these pairs, 2 of these, 2 of these, 6 of these, in my case, red and white pairs, but 6 of the fabric C, which in my case is the white, with the fabric D triangle. So 6 of those, 2, 2, 2, 6. So it is a lot, but I'll go ahead and get going on that. Alrighty, so here are all my half square triangles. I'm going to put them in piles. So this one was the one where we did 6 of them. In this one you press towards D. In my case the red, you press towards fabric D. The next one is the pair of E and C, and on this one you press towards E, in my case the blue. The next one was fabric F and D, and in this case you press towards fabric F, in my case the light blue. And lastly was the fabric E and D, and in this one you press towards D, which is that red again, that gorgeous red. So let's see what we do next. We are going to, we make 2 pairs. We need these squares. These were the E and D squares. It's important to pay attention here. And you're going to sew those. Let me move these out of the way. you're going to sew these, pair these up with the next group, which was F and D, F and fabric D. And you are going to lay them out like this. Yep, okay, so you have your fabric E, D, F, D, and that's what you want to do, and you want to make 2 pairs like this. All right, so here's how these look, and then the next thing we're going to do is sew 2 times. You're going to need, just make sure I'm doing this right, the C with fabric D triangle, and then the E with fabric C triangle. So there you go. That's what that's going to look like, and you're going to do this 2 times. Let me move this out of the way. All right, so here they're coming together. This is what's so fun about mystery quilts, is they just kind of quietly move together, and then all of a sudden you have a quilt, and or you have something that starts looking like something. So I'm setting these aside, and last but not least, and we're doing this 2 times, you are pairing up these last remaining, in my case, red and white half square triangles. This is fabric C and D, and you are going to lay these out like this. And like this. Let me just make sure. That's what's so helpful using that pattern. There we go. Yeah. All right, so here they are, nice and pressed. I press towards the bottom, and I'm going to move one aside. We have 2 units like this, and we have 2 rectangles. So you're going to pull that rectangle over, and you're going to add that to the right side. And this is where I recommend using that, sewing on this side, so you can follow that seam along, so you know what, so you can get that nice sharp point. All right. Ooh, I like this. The fun, vibrant colors. I'm loving this red, white, and blue. So there's my 2 units like this, and then we're going to pull back those other half square triangles. I'm just going to do one so it doesn't get confusing. So here's the unit we just made with strings all over the place. We're going to lay it like this. Then the one we put on top, and this is where I really need my pattern to make sure I'm doing this correctly. For the top, you want the EDFD triangle. It goes on the top, so it's going to go like this. And on the bottom, you want, and you know what, I need to zoom the camera out a little bit. There we go. That way you can see it a little bit better. Let me move that up a little bit so you can see the... So on the bottom, you want, this is C, D, E, and C. Correct. So this is the layout you want. Alrighty, my friends, here we are. This is section 1B of clue number 1 of the Piazza Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mystery Quilt. That's a lot to say. Alright, folks, so what do you think about the Puzzle Mystery Quilt? It's easy to put together. If you've never done one before, I hope you're here and you're quilting along with me. Join me every month when I do this. Here again is section 1A of the clue number 1. I'm doing the Maggiore colorway. And I'd love to know what colorway you're doing. There's so many pretty ones. It was really hard for me to choose. And then here is section 2, which I'm holding that right. And you did 2 of these. And this is section 1B, excuse me. Section 1B of clue number 1. If you're a veteran to puzzle mystery quilts, well then you'll have no problem. And even if you're a beginner, you shall have no problem doing this. Couple of tips. Number 1, keep this brochure and take a picture of the back on your cell phone, just so you remember what the colors are. You could probably tell today you got to keep referring back to this so you know which colors you're using and which colors go where, because it can get a little tricky if you don't pay attention. But the clue, let me pull this up. I'm doing it again, the small version. The clue is so helpful. It has everything you need to know. I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button. I thank you so much. I always love new subscribers. And that way you'll never miss one of my Puzzle Mystery Quilt videos. Again, they come out at each month, one a month. I'm still working on the other one, the So Sweet Mystery. So if you're working on that one, I'll see you 2 times during the month. So I hope I see you next month. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.